we are on the site of the castle.
And it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
Look at that.
Absolutely fascinating.
That's what you do. You buy these clothes that cost money and make a difference in it. But we never do that.
Never complains, gets up, gets on with a smile on his face.
You just want you to sit in your chair and go, hip hip hooray, for the Western press and the Western narrative. You dare dictate the same old, every single day, without this. If you haven't seen it before, please watch the first series, the first 2 episodes, the second series. Stallone. Buongiorno, come state tutti? Listen, it's one of those things, isn't it? You know, when you wake up and you see, yeah, I'm waking up in the dark. I'm waking up in the dark. I cannot, for the life of me, wake up with sun streaming through the window. It's just, I've got the bloody lights on in my living room. Am I a moaner? I think I am, anyway. And I'm sure I've got a phantom ghost as well in the house. I'm looking for pullovers and, you know, because it's a bit nippy, isn't it? I've been looking for them everywhere, can't find them. So someone comes in and nicks them. Anyway, I'm going to bring my good friends on show. He's got a cheek though, hasn't he? You wouldn't come on last night. Must have been having a nice off. I have to do a show on my own. But there he is, it's the good man here, the good red. Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, how are you?
What's it like over there in Ireland and the report? Is it dark or what? You know,
it's a bit dull, but you know the funny thing is, you were saying that you have the light on. I always have the light on in the office. This is where I work.
You work.
I usually work 2 days in the office, so I have to go into the HQ in Dublin. But then I can work 3 days a week at home, which it can be okay and can be a little bit annoying when you have 2 dogs barking. But it's a bit dull out now.
Will pay. It's called winter, Frank.
Winter is coming.
Just popping in to say I will. I've been looking at. I'm still disappointed with Nuke. I really am. It's there's no chat for you now, is there? I never went on, you know, after that little episode. I never went on the chat, but I enjoyed going on Nuke, you know, and having a look, see what was happening. And I'm very disappointed. Very, very disappointed. Anyway, let's get back to first the sideline.
All right, sideline.
Hello, Frank and Sean.
Yeah, sideline won our first AKM LFC prize. He won a signed Jan Moby photo, lovely black and white photo, and he got that. So
I could have given him a photograph of me and Jan together.
There you go.
Signed by me. Signed by...
Well, that's something that I'll be looking for now for Christmas as a Christmas present now off you, Frank. A signed autograph off you.
Look. Oh, that's great. That is our Edward.
All right, Edward.
Is that you?
That's me. It doesn't usually ring from here, which is a bit weird. I think it's my agent telling me that there's another show looking for me.
All right. All right. You know, it's not about P. Diddy, is it? You know, it's not Hollywood calling. Yeah.
No, God, no. It might be the court asking me to testify against P. Diddy because I went to a P. Diddy concert, so they might be asking me what sort of stuff went on.
I don't know. I'm
Trump's on the phone.
I was taking France here, you know, paid for the tickets to see next year to Anfield to see the Boss.
Oh, brilliant.
Springsteen.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to see him now.
Oh, really?
I'm not going to see it. I'm not. You know, Francine will, you know.
Yeah.
Because I'm very political. And he was supporting that Kamala Harris.
Was he supporting?
Anyone who supported her supported genocide. That's why.
That's the thing. I haven't really been tuned in as much as I would like to have been, because there's a lot of stuff going on in Ireland. I mean, there's the Dáil, as they call it over here, has been dissolved. So it means that there's going to be a general election before the Christmas over here. So I'm more worried about the politics over in Ireland than I am in America. But of course, you have to keep an eye on what's happening in America because it affects everyone. But I think if she talks about getting the hostages freed, and you know, she's part of that crowd that give Benjamin Netanyahu a standing ovation, we've got problems. We've got big problems.
I know, and she's a liar as well. She's a liar because she totally discredits her own ethnicity, Indian ethnicity, when she said that she's African American.
Yeah,
and she's not, and it was found out.
I think Trump picked on that, didn't he?
Yeah, and also when she said, I worked in McDonald's, you know, trying to help the household. She's a liar. She didn't work in McDonald's. That was debunked as well. So what kind of president would she have made? That's the way I looked at it.
Hard to know, Frank. Hard to know. It's kind of, you know, picking the lesser evil, you know, in politics in general. It's very difficult to know nowadays. But there's North Red. I haven't seen North Red in ages. Trump's on the phone.
Okay, well, Youssef says Trump's on the phone.
I don't think he has my number. I've changed my number a couple of times. He kept ringing me at all hours, and I was getting sick of it, Youssef.
Well, Facebook user Frank and Sean, what are you doing up at this time in the morning? You never walk alone.
Ah, sure. How is it? It's only coming up. Facebook user. Do we not get the name of the person? That's unusual. All right, Gary.
Yeah, says Gary. The North Red. You're right to boycott Francis. Boycott. Well, what's all this work if you think there's nothing you can do? Just boycott Israeli goods or supporters of slaughter. Well, you know, anyone who supported Kamala, I will not. Well, I've always said George Clooney is, you know, a bit of a. I'm not going into. This is about films.
I know.
And TV series, right? Films and TV series. And I asked Sean to watch a film in particular, and I wanted a review from him. And it's one of those films that it enthralls you from the very beginning. And it's one of those films that have got a beginning, it's got a middle, and it's got an end, rather than just like floating in and then the ends is this is, as I've said, a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it's called Knowing, and starring Nicolas Cage. And I asked Sean to watch it and give it the review. So go on, Sean, give the review. I know that you watched it.
Yeah, well, I've watched two films for you, Frank. I watched Knowing. I watched Knowing a long time ago, and it's kind of. Do you know what it reminded me of? I mean, I love Nicolas Cage anyway. Nicolas Cage to me can't put a foot wrong, although a lot of his films nowadays kind of go straight to DVD. But it kind of reminds me of Russell Crowe's A Beautiful Mind. You know, it kind of reminds me of that a little bit. But it basically is about this young man, a single father with a son. His wife just passed away. He's kind of coming to terms with it a bit. The child is kind of, still doesn't really know what's going on, and there's massive question marks over their belief and whether they believe in an afterlife or not. Nicolas Cage is kind of like a science teacher, I think. So he's more kind of he trusts the science rather than the kind of spirit world and what have you. And basically what happens is this school back in the 1960s puts stuff into a time capsule that then in present day they open up, and this young kid back in the 60s writes all these codes or all these numbers, and
59 it was.
What?
It was put in 1959, not the 60s.
1959.
I'm sorry, well,
yeah. So basically they open up the capsule, and all these envelopes get passed to the children, and Nicolas Cage's son gets the envelope with all these numbers, and kind of freaks the child out, kind of freaks Nicolas Cage out.
Why do you think it freaks when he opens the envelope? Because it's very important. Why do you think it freaks him out?
Well, it makes no sense, and then he starts kind of seeing
because as you know, everybody else is getting drawings.
Yeah.
They're getting drawings, and he's got numbers.
Yeah.
Don't forget, he's a child.
And the other thing is that it's back in the 1959 or 60. Those kids are to draw pictures of what the future would be like. And that's essentially what it was meant to be. And he just gets all these numbers and it makes absolutely no sense. And all the other kids are kind of saying, "Oh well, I got a picture, and that was kind of lame what you got." But the child is meant to leave that at school, and he brings it home with him. Nicolas Cage kind of has a bit of a drinking problem, just a tad. And he's kind of looking at the sheet like this, and he puts his little glass of whiskey or whatever it was onto the page, and it kind of circles the numbers. So he's kind of looking, and he's like, I wonder what that means. So he's basically looking up these numbers on the internet, and they're all coming up with dates, disasters, amount of people that died. And then there's other numbers that he's not too sure that comes after that doesn't have any sort of meaning until later on he finds out. And that's the really fun part of it. Those numbers are actually the geographical location of where these disasters happen. And Nicolas Cage finds himself right smack middle in one disaster where a plane goes down, So it really goes on from there, and he's trying to convince his friend at a lab or who studies astronomy and whatever to kind of look into it further. And they all think he's, lost it because obviously he's still suffering from, he's still grieving over the death of his wife. But it kind of goes on from there, and there's a few kind of weird things that involve his son.
You don't have to tell the full story.
I'm not telling the full story.
Sorry.
I'm not telling the full story, but it's to me it's a fantastic film. The only thing that let it down, Frank, was the end. The only thing that let it down was the end.
Really?
The end was just. The end was like it like. I remember watching it the first time and thinking, this is a great film. Watching it the second time, I totally forgot.
The ending tells the story of it in itself.
It does, but like it's you don't expect it the first time. When you watch it the second time, you're expecting.
I've watched it a few times because it tells the story.
Yeah,
the ending tells the story. And it's a story of what's happening today. That's all I'll just say on the matter. So you'll have to watch it yourself.
You'll have to watch it yourself.
And the destruction of Earth itself. Mankind, shall I say. Mankind brings in all human beings, not just the gender of man. And it's destroying, as we know it is. And well, okay. And what's the other film you watched?
I have to just comment on North Red. North Red, I couldn't agree with you more. Leaving Las Vegas was a fantastic film, and Cage won an Oscar for it, and rightly so. It was an amazing film. So the other one is The Family Man. It's a 2000 movie, romantic fantasy comedy drama, and it's unusual. It again, it reminds me of a film called I don't know whether you've ever seen it or not. Jim Carrey's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah, no, never watched it.
Oh, you gotta watch that. But Tia Leone is in it, and it's basically about a man that is kind of a Wall Street success, all about business, working during the Christmas, living the high life. But he makes a decision years and years back to go off to America and leave his then girlfriend. And it's kind of a bit like, life's decisions, and, one decision can take you one place and then another can take you another place. And it's kind of like, where you have hindsight and you can kind of see, okay, this would have taken me here instead of there. But he gets the opportunity in some weird way of looking at what his life would have been if he had stayed with his girlfriend. And he's kind of struggling to kind of get back to the life he had, but then realizes that he would have been just as happy, if not more, with his wife, where his girlfriend then turned wife. So it kind of makes you think. It kind of gives you kind of an idea of, or it makes you think about work life and balance, and kind of like, okay, you want to be successful at this, but what are you willing to kind of give up for it? That's what I got from it. I don't know whether I'm really doing a great a great review of it, but I don't want to give too much away.
Do you think it was a clever film, by the way?
Absolutely. I really enjoyed it. And do you know what I liked about it, Frank? I like a film that makes you think.
Yes.
And makes you look at your own life and think, if I made this decision, what would have happened here? And sometimes they're the most difficult films to watch as well, because you're kind of thinking to yourself, well, what if I made this decision instead of that decision?
Do you know what? I don't know whether you know where you're saying about it's different paths, isn't it, that you take in life,
Absolutely.
and everybody, I don't care who they are, there's always a regret in life.
Yeah,
Everybody has a regret. Every human being has a regret in life, and that's
yeah,
what it's about. It's about where it's a second chance. It's a second chance.
yeah. It's
And not many people get second chances. And it's absolutely brilliant. And it's funny as well.
Yeah,
It's
it's
funny.
hilarious, and the young kid in it. That like, there's
Oh,
obviously the young
man,
kid is amazing in it. Absolutely
she
amazing
should
in
have
it.
got an Oscar if there was
Oh,
just for children. Bang, she would have got one there.
but Tia Leone was amazing as well. Beautiful woman. And I haven't really seen her in much, to be honest with you.
Tia Leone.
Yeah, she was incredible. She was incredible in it, and it just, it kind of makes you think. Well, if I sacrifice my own happiness for her happiness, what would happen? What would my life have been? Or would I have been just as happy, kind of making her happy? Or, it's it's kind of like, well, you can't have it all. And
No,
he realizes at the end of the film that the sort of life that he had, he didn't really want to have, because he's missing out on this. And no matter how successful he was, even at the start, no matter how successful he was and happy he was still alone. He could have been sleeping with several different random women, but he still wasn't with someone that he was in love with.
yeah, you're spot on there because he'd never married.
Yeah,
He was a harsh businessman,
yeah.
but he was a fair businessman as well. He respected his team, didn't he? This is at his high level of
It was it,
employment.
there was a little type of kind of Scrooge in it, kind of meeting the ghosts of Christmas past and all of that kind of stuff in it, because it's kind of based at Christmas, and like he's getting his team to kind of work during the Christmas, which obviously for his team, they have family and he doesn't, so he can't really understand their rationale about, like, well, wanting to go back home to be with their family, because he didn't have that. He doesn't have that. He's got this penthouse and this massive bedroom and massive, like, lovely car and what have you, and not a care in the world. But does he really? I mean, he doesn't have that important thing
No,
in his
but that
life.
doesn't come out at the beginning
No.
because he wants to return to that at the beginning.
Yeah.
He wants to go back because he gets the really, the angel, shall we say.
Yeah.
And he goes to, and listen, it just went, uh, but that is the bit of a Scrooge thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A Christmas Carol sort of thing.
Yeah.
And anyway, and it was set around at Christmas, wasn't it?
Yeah, and
And
I'll tell you, Frank, when you kind of showed that, or suggest that to me, I'm kind of like at a crossroads in my own life where I'm kind of thinking and I'm getting on a bit, and I'm kind of looking at other people my age and what they're doing, and what they've achieved and what I haven't achieved and what have you. And I kind of felt, Jesus, Frank must be knowing, subconsciously, that I need to watch this film, that kind of way. But I watched it and I kind of thought to myself, it's a difficult film to watch because it automatically, whether you realize it or not, it's taking you to a situation where you're reevaluating your own life and you're thinking, if I did this, would this been different? And I think if a film can do that, I think it does the job. I think when you have viewers that will watch the film and it does that, it's a fantastic film.
well, they're the regrets, you see,
Yeah,
because that film is telling you what regrets do you have. I've got regrets. I've got lots of them.
yeah,
And when I'm sitting there on my own or whatever, I just go, why did I do that?
yeah, yeah,
Why?
Yeah.
all the time, all the time. So, you know, it does make you think. It does make you think. It's like literature.
Yeah.
No matter what in literature, your life, it's doors and it's gates and it's paths.
Yeah.
No matter what door you open, that door could lead to something wonderful. Or if you open another door, that could lead to disaster of like your life going right through. You know, you could take or you could go down a path. There's two paths in life, and you could take one, and it's a great path. You
Yeah.
succeeded in whatever you wanted to do. You could go down the other path and
Yeah.
bring with it self-destruction.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at life.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at life. I've been there. I go down my path. I think it's been a rather successful path. However, during that journey, my personal journey, I've had regrets.
Hmm.
I've had regrets. I haven't taken another path. I've still been on the same path, but I've
Yeah.
had lots of regrets. Regrets that have hindered me.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
now, it's hindered me.
Yeah.
So it's one of those films. He got the second chance. I've never had a second chance, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until now, you know, I haven't had that second chance. Most probably, I'd have the second chance up as well. Most probably, if you
It's
know what I mean.
but
And that's
it kind of it's I think Edward made a really really good point there, and it's kind of like there's a film called The Butterfly Effect, and what's his name is in it. I can't think of his name, but it's a fantastic, fantastic film. But it's very like The Family Man. Um, very very like it, kind of like, you know, if I made this decision, this would have happened. And it's kind of like going back to the future film. It's like if I correct this thing in the past, then that totally, you know, changes everything in the future. And it's like I would certainly recommend, if you're watching anything for Christmas, stick that on, because it just I think it's a fantastic film. It's a really, really good film, you know.
it is, and it's clever. I'll get back to what you said before about the what Nicolas Cage is doing, some of the films that he's doing,
Yeah.
and they're going straight to DVD. He has to take those films because he's paying back the IRS.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
He owes them millions, and he's
Oh,
paying back
shit.
every film that he does. He's grabbing anything, and
Yeah.
it's a shame, really, because he's a great actor.
He's a fabulous
He's a
actor.
great
And I mean, I know that, like, you know, there's a lot of internet memes out there about how over dramatic he can be. But do you know what? I think that's testament to his range. He can be kind of very subtle, and he can be over the top. Um, you know, where a lot of actors and actresses are pigeonholed to be a certain type, where Nicolas Cage can be anything. You know, you can have, you know, Con Air, or you can have Face Off, which is like one, you know, extreme to the other. And I mean, I've loved Nicolas Cage since leaving Las Vegas. I absolutely.
No, I tell you a film, and it's a cracker with Nicolas Cage, yeah.
Mm.
And it's gone unnoticed, really. It's a few years old, but it's gone unnoticed, and it's a cracker. And it's called Tokarev. Tokarev. It's a Russian name, you know. It's got a Russian name, and he was in the mob, and he got out of it, and now he's a businessman, and you know he's married. He's happily married. He's got a lovely daughter, and then all of a sudden his daughter's dead. And it starts from there. You see him as he's got two mates. One owns a bar, and the other, they're all right. You know what I mean? These are gangsters, but they're all right. And he goes in and has a drink with them. You know, he's never forgotten them, but he's out of the, he's out of the whatever he did. He's out of that game.
Yeah.
And as I said, he's a successful businessman. And the next is his young daughter is dead, and he goes looking, and his two mates help him. It's a cracking film. It really is a cracking film. Tokarev, it's called.
I must have a watch of that.
You know, if you search Nicolas Cage, you'll see Tokarev.
You'll see it, yeah.
But you know, it's on YouTube as well, but under a different bloody title.
Yeah, there's some films like that have different titles. It's unusual, but
yeah, it's like the best film I have to say. The best film I've seen in the last couple of years, new films, that is, without all this wokeness in it, is called. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups. I had to rush my breakfast. Anyway, it's called, I forget what it's called. No.
It's called Hiccups.
It's called, what's it bloody called? It's called The Memory of a Killer.
The Memory of a Killer. Oh, I must have a look at that.
Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton.
Isn't he making such a great comeback now, Michael Keaton? It's amazing.
Yes, great him. But, he's a great actor. He's always been a great actor. But that film, I recommend to anybody. It's a cracking film. And the acting is absolutely brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. Al Pacino's in it.
Oh, well, you can't beat Al Pacino.
And another
Cannot
fella
beat Al Pacino.
And another fella by the name of James Marsden.
James who?
James Marsden. He's a very good actor. I've seen him in loads of things. And one of the films that you have to see that he's in, with Carl Urban. Carl Urban's a very good actor as well. Is called The Loft.
Okay.
It's just called The Loft.
The Loft.
Cracking film, yeah. And it's about a group of mates. And Carl Urban's this fella who's he's a top architect.
Mm.
And he built these, big block of apartments in a very exclusive area. But he's got himself this apartment.
Right.
And he says to his the other four mates, listen, I'm going to give you the key. He says, do what you want, if you know what I mean. These are grown men, so obviously bring a girl back or whatever. So he gives them a key. And then a body is found. Of a girl, a naked girl in the bed. Brilliant.
How old is that film?
I think it was done 10 years ago. And James Marsden's in that. James Marsden's he's a married man. They're all married.
Yeah.
Except Carl Urban. Yeah, Carl Urban's married. They're all married.
2014, yeah.
It's called The Loft.
Yeah. I'm looking at it here.
It's a cracking film. It really is.
Oh, your man Urban. He's Carl Urban. He's a fantastic actor. He is. Yeah. He's a really, really good actor. And Wentworth Miller.
He's McCoy in the franchise, the new franchise of Star Trek.
Yes. Yeah, I've seen that. He's a really, really good actor. He plays Oh my God, who's the guy he plays? The Doctor in Star Trek.
Yeah,
I can't think.
McCoy. Not
McCoy.
trying to say he's ever been a better father-daughter pairing in a film paper moon with Ryan and Tatum O'Neill, in which he won an Oscar at 10 years old. Brilliant road film, Crime Caper. Yeah, well,
Ryan O'Neill.
O'Neill, he was a dog in real life,
Yeah.
and Tatum never ever spoke to him.
He was a bit weird though with his kids too, and the way he spoke
Horrible,
about them. Yeah.
horrible
Yeah.
he was. So, he was a fine actor as well, but, when you see the dark side of these people, albeit that they're playing characters that you like, they're totally different from the characters that they play. Totally different. They have a dark side.
I think this year is starting to show the real dark side of Hollywood and the film and the music industry, especially with the P. Diddy stuff that's coming out. So I think, as the old saying goes, be careful who you choose to have, or who your idols are. They may
And who your
disappoint.
friends are as well. See, don't forget that all these people with the P. Diddy thing, I'm telling you now, they're going to deny it.
Of course,
However,
yeah.
the FBI, they've got, well, especially the DA, the district attorney, he's got all the film. He's got the film. And they can't deny it. They can't. That J-Lo, she should be in jail, that girl, because she carried a gun into a club. P. Diddy gave her a gun in a handbag. They go in, and P. Diddy obviously doing all this the way he does. So, there's nothing showing on his persona. And then he asks for the gun. The gun's given to him, and he shoots this person in the face.
Yeah.
Gives her back the gun, and they walk out. She's an
accessory
accessory.
to murder. Yeah.
She should be in jail now.
There's a lot of them that should be in jail. Cardi B for one.
Well, you've got the Epstein thing, haven't you?
Oh.
You've got the even now the Epstein thing. There's a scapegoat, and that's Ghislaine Maxwell. She's the only person in jail. Why is that? And there's Elon Musk and Trump saying, do you want this list to be exposed? Because the president can go like that. Here's a list. Now go and get him. If you know what I mean. Go and get him, as they say. In America.
It's going to be an interesting couple of years, I think, with all of these cases and stuff like that. But yeah, look at Oprah, who's been kind of like on her high and mighty, and think that she can talk about morals and principles, and she's, bloody neck deep in all of this, But
sex as well. She's knee deep in. As you said about morals, she's
yeah,
and she's the biggest culprit.
Oh yeah, hypocrite.
Yeah. The hypocrisy of people is unbelievable.
Well, there's a Scottish YouTube channel, Frank, that kind of hones in the hypocrisy of Hollywood. And, especially with the elections, and you have people talking about, who to vote for, and I'm going to move if this person is voted in and whatever. And these people are living the high life, are not struggling for anything. And they're telling people like yourself and myself that are living their life and what have you, like a normal Joe Soap. They're telling them who to vote for. They're in no, and as Ricky Gervais has said in the Golden Globes a couple of times, you're in no position. And I love him for He's brilliant. He says you're in no position to lecture anybody on you know, how to live their life or who to vote for. You know,
because he knew what was going on at the
yeah,
time.
yeah,
He knew.
yeah.
I seen Obama during these campaigns, and he was talking to these black lads,
Mhm.
and he was more or less telling them, "You had better vote for Kamala.
Yeah.
You had better vote for Kamala."
Well,
And you know, the black lads are looking at him, going, "Hang on a minute, don't be fucking telling us who to vote for."
yeah, yeah.
And
And
that
it's probably why you know, the votes swung in favor of Trump more so. But I mean, it didn't really seem. Again, I didn't know too much, or I didn't really tune in too much to the American election, because you know, we're coming up to a general election ourselves in Ireland, and it's probably the most important one in the history of the country. Um, But one thing I noticed was Kamala Harris was not, or Kamala Harris, or whatever you call her. She did very little speaking. It was other people that spoke for her, and I just thought anytime that she did speak, it was kind of cringe. It was really bad. It was like another Sarah Palin. You know, it
yeah,
was just, it was
yeah,
dreadful.
absolutely. You know, see, with the Obama, when he was president, I'll never forget this. You know, they talk about like a few years ago in the last presidential election, or when he won it, they were saying that it was Russian interference, and that
Mm,
was, you know, finally debunked, and it was Hillary Clinton who was making up all these lies about, you know, trying to undermined the American election. Not only
yeah.
that, but also Trump. He cheated to get in. This is what she was saying. So it was called Russiagate. And anyway, it was debunked. And Hillary got the blame. She should be in fucking jail as well.
Mm,
But that's a different thing. Because I remember about interference, that prat Obama saying to the British public, you know, from the White House, here, you better vote in these Tories. He was saying that to the British public. You better vote, or you'll go the back of the line in trade. That's what he was saying. And even that's when I said, who the F is it to say that
mm.
to me? You had better vote and
Well, I
put the
mean,
right.
they have the audacity, and I know we're kind of going off the film TV kind of review. But look at your show, Frank. You do what you like. But I love these conversations, by the way. But I mean, they have the audacity to say that Russia or other countries are interfering with their election. America are interfering with the Irish election.
Every election,
They're
every
interfering. There is there's been accounts on the social media uh, creating a smear campaign against the opposition of government, which is a party called Sinn Féin. Anyone knows Sinn Féin? And they are the only real party that can actually challenge the government at the moment. And it has been researched into that the accounts on the social media that are creating this smear campaign is actually over in America. It's American. It's not Irish. It's American. So it's crazy, crazy.
well, you know, the way I look at it, the way I look at everything. Look, America, there's a general election went on in Georgia, in Europe, not Georgia, the state of Georgia, in Georgia, and they tried to get in a puppet regime. Now they're trying to, you know, this fella, was democratically elected. People voted them in, his party in. And the next, well, he was already prime minister anyway, or president, whatever they called over there. And they've been trying to undermine him for years.
Mm.
America and the EU. The EU, that von der Leyen, she should be in jail as well, eh?
Oh,
She's got a lot of blood on her hands, that woman.
yeah.
Anyway, so now they're trying to have a colour revolution over in Georgia. This is what America do.
Yeah.
This is what America do. They don't give a toss about you, me, or ordinary people. As long as they have a puppet there who take notes, we've got you now. You're under our thumb. That's what they want.
Mm-hmm.
But you get people who say, F you, we don't want to be under your thumb. Who the hell do you think you are? America.
Absolutely.
And that's the way they are. See, the ordinary people of America, in my opinion, are being tarnished with the brush that their deep state is, the horrible people, the deep state, these neocons, the shocking people, the warmongers, the more wars that go on, what they cause, the more money they earn. Look at BlackRock. I just hope that Russia take all of Ukraine, because BlackRock, they bought all this land for peanuts of Zelensky, the most corrupt. I don't even call him a leader, because he's not a leader. He's a defunct president. He wouldn't call elections. He wouldn't call them. He imprisoned his opposition. He closed all media down that opposed him. Where's the fucking democracy in that?
Absolutely. I think the writing is on the wall when you have people that close down the media or try and shut the country off from the rest of the world. I'm just reading Irish Red's comment here. Irish government corrupt like the rest, still doing business with Israel. In fact, increased contract recently in the field of technology. They are disgrace and cry crocodile tears for Palestine. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, that's all politicians, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at David Lammy in this. I'm not here. He called. Here's the hypocrisy of these arseholes. He called Trump a racist, a misogynist, and he's in the KKK. Right, that's what he said. And he said, if he ever comes to this country, this is him. This is him. This is during the Kamala campaign. He said, and if he ever steps foot in our country, I'll be with the protesters demanding him to leave. When he got in, he went like, hey, congratulations, Donald. Fuck off, I would have said to him. And I hope he do. I hope Trump comes over there and grabs him by the scruff of the neck. Him and Starmer, horrible people. And there's the North. Lammy's a cunt.
North Red being very.
I know what he means,
yeah, such.
Yeah, and again, that's another thing he calls him, Trump a tyrant in a toupee. Yeah, but
that's funny.
I just think that, some of the Badenoch is worse. Everyone's worse. There's no one. But anyway, this deep state in America, and there's a deep state here in the UK. I'm not even bewildered anymore. I'm afraid of them, actually. I'm afraid of them.
I
of
well,
what
I
they.
yeah. I mean, I to be honest with you, the other day I was seriously considering on like starting a channel about kind of like the political landscape in this country in Ireland, and then I thought to myself, is it worth it? You know, worth putting my neck out on the line, worth getting dogs abuse for it, and I kind of thought to myself, no. But I am very kind of vocal on my own platforms and stuff about the current situation in our country, and I have to say, football is my kind of escape.
It says it's a gateway into reality, isn't
You
it?
know, but then when
It's a
that
gateway to fantasy. That's what it is.
exactly. But then when you have a certain aspect of the football that's affecting the club that you love, then that brings you to something else. Do you know what I mean? So you're trying to escape the reality of the state of the country that you're living in by watching your football and whatever, and with the lads and talking and stuff. But I do get very bewildered and depressed about the way things are in our country. I have never in my life. I don't know what's happening in this country, but I can tell you, it's an absolute mess. It's a complete and utter mess. And if you were to do like a program, Frank, on even the current situation in Ireland, you would need several programs. You'd need to do like a whole week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks of it, because the amount of shit that's going on, pardon my language, it's crazy. And I know we're on a film and a TV review thing, but it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Well, the point is as well is that what's going on. You're saying about your country. The whole of Europe is in the same mess.
Yeah.
And it's all because of the SMO. They should have just left. Or what they should have done, this is Europe and America. They should have allowed the agreement, the Turkish agreement that was made in March 2022, signed, and there would have been no war. That would have been the end of it. That would have been the end of it. And there would have been hundreds of thousands of lives, young lives saved. He would have been alive today. And we scuppered it. And then they threw loads of sanctions. They just wanted to poke the bear. They wanted to try and overthrow Putin. That's what they wanted to try to do. Overthrow him. So that they could grab all the resources in there, break up Russia and grab the resources. Right, so that's what they wanted to do. And they really thought Ukraine could take them on. But listen, you have the likes of Russia, who are very strong-willed people. They forget about history. They forget about from the Napoleonic Wars. They forget about the Second World War. They forget all about that, and how the Russians, respond to threats. And now it's just backfired on the whole of Europe. Nord Stream was blown up by the Americans. They were trying to blame everyone else. They even blamed Russia for doing it. And it's become pathetic. But there's Trump. He's just come out in the last few days and said about Nord Stream. He said, we blew it up. Well, not me personally, it was the Biden administration. And the Germans are terrified of the Americans. The Germans. And all their particular industry is going to America because of the energy. They can't afford the energy. And they were getting it dead cheap from Russia. And as Putin said the other day, there's still another pipeline there. They've only got to turn it on. And they've got all this cheap energy. He's got no animosity towards anybody. But he doesn't trust the West anymore. But he's got no animosity. If you want cheap energy, there it is. You can have it. But America hate Russia.
Oh, that's obvious.
You've only got to look at the evil axis. All of a sudden, America's come out with the evil axis, and everybody's mentioning them. I heard von der Leyen this morning mentioning them. And that is Iran, Russia, China, and there's your other one, which is North Korea. That's the evil axis. And they want wars with them. They can't even beat Russia. And if you think that it's just Ukraine and they're fighting them, they're not. And they've trapped themselves in Kursk. Russia will not allow them to go. They're just destroying them every day. As I speak to you now, they're getting destroyed. There's no doors open for them. There's no corridors to escape into the Ukraine because they know who they are. And they've captured loads. American, British, Poles, French, all these mercenaries, but they're not mercenaries. They're what you call sheep dipped. Got Ukraine uniforms on.
Yeah, well, there's an Irishman actually from my hometown who's actually fighting over in the Ukraine for the Ukrainians, and he's a bit of not what I would call a social influencer, but he's certainly well known in our hometown. He calls himself the Lord Mayor. But yeah.
Well, anyway, can I just tell all the people? Sorry about this. You know, you did go off on a tangent.
It was my fault, Frank. It was my fault. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I'm blaming you anyway. Anyway, I'll tell you what to watch, people, because the way it is at the moment, we're on the precipice. Please watch a 1983 film, and it's only a TV film, by the way, but get a good stream on it. There's some good streams, you know, which gives you the 4K or whatever it's bloody called, or remastered, and it's called The Day After. The Day After. And boy, if you watch it, you go, whoa. But that was made in 1983.
What was that about? I think I've seen this.
Well, what it's about a doctor, just an ordinary doctor, ordinary people. You know, it goes to different people. And there's a little story behind the different people. There's a young couple who are getting married, you know, oh, I can't wait. And you've got a doctor, and he's a surgeon. And, you know, he's just doing his normal work, operations and, you know, saving lives. And you've got this young fella who's a student at university. And you've got, like, you know, these other, like, undergraduates, you know, they're all talking about things. And all of a sudden, someone's got the radio on. And this was 83, this is during the Cold War. This is before the wall came down in 89, right? So it's got East Germany, East Berlin and West Berlin. And they're at loggerheads, both the Soviets and the Americans. See, America in. Germany. So they're at loggerheads. And then, the more radio news is coming along that, oh, now the ships in such a place, whether it's in the Pacific, the Atlantic, Black Sea, anywhere, the Baltic. So the ships there, warships, submarines, and so there's big tension, and they're just to and fro. And this is people just listening to the radio, by the way, while they're doing the dishes or whatever, whether they're in college, listening to this. And then you just see this surgeon, and he's driving home to his wife, and he's just driving along, and he's listening to the radio, and all of a sudden, there's a blinding flash.
I've seen this.
And he just goes like that under the car, and covers his face. And that's the start of a nuclear war.
Yeah, I've seen this.
But if you could imagine, and it shows you proper, obviously nuclear explosions, hydrogen explosions, you can see them, and they're devastating. They are devastating. But those bombs then, these are more devastating, 1,000 times more devastating.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And this is where we're on the precipice. Watch it. I'm seeing it, but I'm just saying to the people out there, the day after, try and watch it.
Frank, I watched that, and as a kid, I think a teacher brought that in for us to watch. The kind of wheeling in the TV into the room, and played that film. And I swear to Almighty Jesus, the thought of nuclear war scares and even nuclear power, especially when that tsunami hit Japan and hit that nuclear power plant, that reactor, and it looked like there was going to be another Chernobyl. I was panicking. The thoughts of nuclear war, and it all stems from that film. Watching that film, and that was 83. My sister was born in 84, so I would have been, I don't know what age I was when I actually.
Matter. So
I
probably watched. You were a schoolboy.
I probably watched a lot, not in 83, but certainly, yeah.
Of course.
Later on, but I swear to God, it was effective for me because the thoughts of even nuclear power or nuclear energy scares the crap out of me.
This is why ordinary Americans, we're in Europe. Liverpool is one of the blackest spots for a nuclear attack. Did you know that? Liverpool.
You were saying that to me, yeah.
Right. So, but Europe is so unsafe, and people are worried. But you get the ordinary Americans who's living in Dakota or wherever they bloody well live. They're not interested because they don't get any news.
Yeah.
All they get on their television is they turn to tell you, oh, it's going to be a great day with a high of 79. Or it's
whatever happens in Dakota. Yeah.
Yeah. And nothing. Absolutely. It was proved. I was watching a program and I told you this. And they asked this young girl, where's England?
Yeah.
And she said, I don't know. He said, well, have a guess. And she said, oh, is it in Mexico? You see? And they asked this young fella, they gave him a map of America.
Yeah, I've seen this, yeah.
And there was no Texas, there was no California, no Florida, written on. And he came from, where did he come from? Illinois. Was it Illinois? Yeah, Illinois. He came from Illinois, and he's fucking in Illinois. Yeah, and he went, "Where's your state?" And he looked, and he said, "There's no writing on it." He said, "Yeah, where's your state that you live in, but you're born and bred in, and you're at college? Yeah, where is it on the map?" And he said, "Well, take a guess where it is." Bink, California. He said, "Is that it?" North and south. He's more north, Illinois, than California, as you know. And another one was asked about Washington. Washington. Where's the state of Washington? She said, "It's in Washington." And he said, "What do you mean? It's in Washington?" You know, where the president lives. Fucking hell, you know, these are people, they haven't a clue. Because they think that they live in a bubble thinking that they're safe from everything. And they don't worry, they're not interested in what happens in the rest of the world.
It's so funny that you should. It's so funny that you should mention that, and it kind of brings us nicely to what the show is about. And maybe as I've gotten older, I've kind of started to realize this. But like I've seen videos where people are asked to locate South Africa or North Korea or South Korea or whatever, and they pick Australia or New Zealand or something like that. I've seen a load of those videos. But I think Hollywood as well are very kind of, everything is centered in America, and there is nothing outside of America. Nothing. I mean, like if you look at any film nowadays, majority America, America, America. Everything is just based in America. If you see like anything from, I suppose, a supervillain film, or like say a Marvel film or Transformers film or whatever, everything is based in America. Everything. And they can't see outside of their own country. In fact, their knowledge of what really goes on outside of their own country is limited at best, and that's what I've kind of noticed as I've gotten older.
Oh yeah, I'm going to ask you a question here, right?
Yeah.
Simple question. What's Christmas supposed to be to people all around the world? What Christmas time? What is it supposed to be?
Well, to me, it's about family. It's about, I suppose whatever religion you are. It's. I mean, I'm a Catholic, so it's about celebrating the birth of Jesus. That's it. I wouldn't be the most religious of people, so for me, it's gathering together as family.
It's festivities, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's about laughter and joyous. It's about Christmas carols. It's about giving. It's about family gatherings. It's about love. It's about everything. That's what Christmas is, right? There's a new film out called Red One.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I've seen.
That's typical American. That is, they've taken away everything from Christmas. Everything. And I think it's a disgrace.
Yeah.
They're trying to fucking turn everything around to suit their own agenda. Hollywood.
I saw a trailer of that. I've seen a few trailers of it.
It's shocking.
And I'm thinking, sweet Mother Divine, what in the Lord Jesus is this? And I know Dwayne the Rock Johnson is in it. I can't think of the other guy that's in it. Oh, Ryan Reynolds, I think, might be in it, as far as I know. But it looks horrible.
No, the Rockers in it.
The Rock,
That,
yeah. But who
yeah.
else is in it?
Chris Evans is in it.
Chris Evans, yes.
No, Chris Evans is a good actor, right? But he's just an all right actor. But he's the comedy in it. Point is,
I don't know what it is.
Why have they done it? Because they're bringing in violence. It's not supposed to be about violence. It's shocking. And that's America for you. They just, I'll tell you what, let's do a thing there. Let's do a different, it's not like a Christmas Carol.
No.
It's not like that at all. Or It's a Wonderful Life. It's not like that at all. This is violence. This is absolute.
And it's like where Santa. So Santa is what they call the Red One, and he gets captured or something like that. It's like who in the Lord God thinks of these things and think this is great? It's horrible. It's cringe. Even just looking at the
Let's talk about some comments. Yeah. Right, Facebook user. Good morning, lads. It's a scary world we live in at the moment. It really is. The world order plan is to stop education either by ignoring it in schools or by overpricing it. Also, how can Mexicans vote for Trump? Turkey's voting for that. And he carries on by saying it's brainwashing. And he says, watch the brilliant documentary about the ship that sank in the Antarctica, Endurance, with lots of pictures essentially after Shackleton's ship sank beneath the ice. An amazing tale of survival, 10 out of 10. Thanks for that. And as Mark Simon says, football is bread and circus.
Absolutely.
You see, football saved us. Football saved us. Football is it's a commodity that brings joy, but it also brings heartbreak.
Oh.
We can stand the heartbreak, but we explode joyously. And Liverpool has given us that joy for years. And the way they are now, if there's any Evertonians on there, I don't know, but Liverpool to me, Liverpool Football Club, has saved us. It saved me in the 80s from going straight into apathy because of a government that wanted to manage to decline my great city. And football saved us, both Liverpool and Everton saved us.
Well, I'll tell you, I do laugh when people kind of say, oh, well, you're not a real supporter, or, you're not a true Liverpool fan, or you weren't born there. But a part of me was. I feel a part of me was. I feel that my spirit home is Liverpool. And I take massive offense to anyone that tries to insult me or question my loyalty or question whether I'm a loyal fan or not. I love this club, and I am a walking, talking advertisement of Liverpool. And everything I do from the minute I get up to the minute I put my head down is Liverpool. So I can't be any more Liverpool than what I am. I have no decision over where I was born, or where I live. I might have a decision on that. There have been times where I've thought about moving abroad, and even I was considering going to New Zealand. And the reason why I never went to New Zealand is I'd be too far away from Liverpool. So that tells you.
Well, Edward says, off topic, but flying tonight if we beat these.
Yes.
And the Facebook user. 8 p.m. kickoff is a piss take. Greed, greed, greed. Not in the interest of fans, especially when our rail transportation is very unreliable. My lad will take my seat tonight. You see, so that's stopping him from going. This is Saturday, and we have an 8 o'clock kickoff. And I've got a post-match tonight as well, post. So what time will that come out?
God only knows.
It's 10:30. I'll be doing a post-match. You know what I mean? I should be watching the telly under me electric. I've got one of those covers. Cover. Electrified cover. Oh, it's great.
Yes.
Lying there, on the recliner, like, oh, this is great. This. I fall asleep. So don't forget, people, watch Tokarev. I think Tokarev is spelled T-O-K. Have you got a T-O-K-A-R-O-V? T-O-K, A-R-E-V, Tokarev.
I'll get it and I'll watch it.
Nick Cage. It's a fantastic film.
And Shaz, sorry,
no, I never watched it. I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch what, Tokarev?
No, I watched Tokarev, yeah. It's a cracking film. It really is. And I'm trying to think as I'm sitting here twiddling my thumbs as usual. I'm trying to think of it. It's a cracking little sci-fi, and you can get it on YouTube. It's really good. And it's called The Arrival with Charlie Sheen. Proper film, It's not like a TV film, really. And Tia Leone's in that.
Is she in that? Is she?
Yeah, Tia Leone's in that, yeah.
She's really a cracking looking girl, she is.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
Do you know any Tia Leone's to send over to me?
I'll tell you, if there was a Tia Leone or a Tia Leone here, I'd be on. I was going to say I'd be on top of that, but that sounds really bad. I'd be flying over to her and saying, "Here are my digits, love." Oh, she's beautiful. She used to be married to X-Files actor David Duchovny.
Yes, she was.
Yeah.
And you know what he was addicted to?
I'd probably guess with her.
He was addicted. Yeah. He was addicted. Oh, fuck off. To sex.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he had to go for therapy.
Well, the same with what's his name? Michael Douglas. That's what they're saying.
As him, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a dirty old man. His dad, he takes after his dad. He was horrible, that Kirk Douglas.
Was he?
Natalie was, it was exposed when she was a young actress. He wanted to help her, but he was speaking to her mother, and he said, "Listen," he said, "bring her up to my hotel." He said, "I'm staying." He was on location, so he's staying at this hotel, and she brought him up there. Natalie Wood's mother brought her there, and she said, "Are you coming in?" She said, "No." She said, "He just wants to talk to you on his own."
I know where that's going.
Yeah. A few hours later, she came down and she was like distressed. She said, don't ever do that again to me, Mum. Ever again.
Oh, that's horrible.
Unless even an actress went missing with him. They were doing a film together, or young actors, and she's never been found since.
There's a lot of stuff, that Hollywood is kind of covering up. There was also that alleged Eddie Murphy thing with the dead tranny prostitute. Did you hear about that?
No.
Yeah. He was with this dead transsexual. Well, obviously he or she wasn't dead at the time, but he was found with this transsexual prostitute, and
Who is it?
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Well, look at the other fella. It's come out there. He's gay. What's his name? Will Smith. And he's a horror.
Yes.
He's a horror as well.
Yes.
That
whole listen, that whole thing, I absolutely cringe.
So does I.
Watching Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yeah.
And they have a YouTube kind of channel, The Red Table, and they're talking about themselves, and they're talking about Jada Pinkett Smith's entanglement, and Will Smith is just sitting there like, I've lost the will to live. Excuse the pun. It's horrible, absolutely horrible.
Well, I want to ask. It's Neil Broderick, a friend of mine, who's the Facebook user.
Oh, okay, Neil.
Watched Lee last week. I wasn't impressed. 6 out of 10. Lee, you've lost me. You've lost me there, Neil. I don't know what you're talking
What's
about.
it about?
I haven't a clue, Lee. Don't know. So you'll have to enlighten me, please. Mark Simons, to learn who rules over you, finds out who you are not allowed to criticize. Voltaire. Great quote from the man himself.
Yeah, Mark is full of the quotes, isn't he?
Yeah.
I like that.
I think, when you can actually quote a great philosopher. Oh, Edward says, Lee is a film, Frank, about the female journal in World War II.
Okay.
Have you enjoyed this morning?
I have, actually. I really have, Frank. I had a great time. I know we kind of went off the cuff a bit, but that's conversation free, isn't it? That happens. But usually I'm not up this early at the weekends. Usually I get up at about 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning on Monday morning. So I usually use the weekends to sleep in. But no, it's been really, really good, and it's good talking about other stuff other than football. Sometimes you can talk too much about football.
Yeah, well, there's a pod tonight anyway. Are you going out, or are you doing a pod?
I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything unless Adam calls me up. I don't think Adam is doing anything at the moment for AKM LFC.
Well, the link will be there for you.
Yeah, appreciate that, Frank.
No, man, just in case you're not actually doing
if I'm available, I'll jump on.
Yeah, and Neil Broderick says, Frank, when I was off work recovering, he was bad with his heart, just like Red Jim. He was bad as well. I started watching The Last Kingdom. Anyway, after watching a few episodes, I was out walking every day, and a guy kept passing on my walks looked familiar. Turns out he played King Harold. How mad is that?
No way.
Yeah. And yeah, well, Mark, was it Mark or no, Edward told me. Lee was a female journo for Vogue magazine. She took the famous picture of in Hitler's bath. She took the famous picture in Hitler's bath.
There you go. There's plenty. I need to start watching more movies because I've really let. I'm looking forward to a TV series that I've been watching there religiously, which is called Yellowstone. Kevin Costner, and it's Kevin Costner back to being great. You know, I always love Kevin Costner, but he was amazing in this. Now, the next couple of episodes, he's not going to be in it, but he's incredible actor. So I definitely advise you to watch that.
He's gone through an horrendous divorce, yeah.
Has it? Well, such is life, isn't it?
Well, if you look at this particular scene in Blackadder,
Oh yes.
no one could ever beat that final scene. No series whatsoever. It's a fantastic series. And that scene, the final scene, World War One, where they all go over the top. They're going to die. They all know they're going to die. Every single one of them. Loved it. Loved it. You know, as I said, but no one can beat no series, no matter what, can beat that final scene in any series. It was so poignant, so emotional.
I actually bumped into who's the fellow with the glasses again? I can't think of his name.
Say that again.
Who's the fellow in the with the glasses on? I can't think of his name, his real name.
Robinson.
Yeah, I met him. I bumped into him in Dublin. I think he was doing a documentary in Dublin. He's really good. But I remember watching Blackadder and watching when they were doing the dictionary. I can't think of your man's name. He's in House.
Yeah. Hugh Lowry.
Yes, you. So he was like, "Oh, you've done a dictionary, have you?" And he'd come up with all these names or all these kind of words. Well, I shall let you deal with that interphrastically, or I'm sorry if I caused you any confibularities. Your man is looking. Oh, I haven't got that down. What does that mean? But yeah, I remember watching that and nearly breaking my shit laughing at it. Edward, Father Ted was incredible.
Yeah.
Father Ted was
you know,
incredible.
I never watched 2 minutes of Father Ted.
Frank.
Not 2 minutes. Not even a minute.
Frank.
Not a minute.
You've got to. You've got to. It's one of those things. I mean, it's like, I mean, I would put it up there with Faulty Towers, because there was only a few episodes of Father Ted, and the sad thing about Father Ted, Dermot Morgan, who played Father Ted, when they had finished filming, I think it was at the Brits Awards, and he received a Brit or whatever, but he went to his hotel room, he had a massive heart attack and died. And there was talks, and I've heard rumors that they were going to do a film on Father Ted, but it's amazing. I mean, he's been dead for years, and people still, I mean, still in the west of Ireland, they do, the Father Ted Festival, and you can go to the actual house where Father Ted used to live in. And the funny thing about Father Ted is it was Channel 4 did it, Hat Trick Promotions, and they said they originally approached the Irish National Broadcasting Channel, RTE, and they rejected it. They rejected it completely because it was too, it would offend people and whatever. But Father Ted went to Channel 4, and it was incredible. There was only one episode that I didn't like, and that was the first one. The rest was hilarious. There's one particular one which I love called Songs for Europe, and it's about the Eurovision, because we were always winning the Eurovision, and it was taking its toll on the Irish financially. So, what the whole story and background of this episode is that they were going to throw this mad entry for the Irish, so that they would throw the whole Eurovision. They didn't want to win it because it would cost too much money for them to host it. So they get Father Ted and Dougal to represent Ireland. And I swear to Christ, it was the funniest. It was a very, very good episode. But Frank, please, I know you didn't watch the James Bond films, the Daniel Craig.
Listen, I can't stand him. I really can't.
Good.
It's no use me watching something that I can't stand. It's like Jason Statham. I can't stand Jason Statham.
Yeah.
I just can't stand him.
Yeah.
And yet, Daniel Craig is a big Liverpool supporter.
Yeah.
And I've interviewed his granddad.
Yeah.
Here's how he acts. That's how he acts.
But you see, I've watched Layer Cake, which he was in, and that was a kind of a real British mob film. And he was amazing in that. Colin Meaney was in it. Really, really good film. And I thought he was fascinating in that film. He was really good. And I think that film was something that Broccoli saw, or what you call it, his daughter saw, and said, right, he's the next Bond. To me, that made him the next Bond. And I've seen all the Bond films that he's in. It's a different take on it. Some might say that the last one was kind of appealing to the woke community a little bit with certain things that they did in it. But I thought he was brilliant, and I thought especially in Casino Royale, he brought a bit of that suave that Roger Moore.
Blimey, you're going on about it. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to sing it. You're going on about it. Fucking hell.
I've been told off by Frank. It's our first argument.
No, you haven't been told off. I just honestly, it's like anything.
I do get your point on Jason Statham, though. I do get your point on Jason Statham. He's always in the film where he narrates the film. It's so funny. It's so funny.
Father Ted is hilarious, says Mickey M, and I'm in Sweden.
No way.
Sean, did you like The Irishman with De Niro and Pacino?
Yes, I did. I very, very long. Very, very long.
They were too old.
Yeah, they were. You're right. Yeah, exactly. If it was done, maybe. It was
ridiculous. They should have got these other lads to do it.
Yeah.
Whoever they were, young Italian, American Italian actors, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think they should have got them. And then, if they would have had them, younger versions, someone playing De Niro, someone playing Pesci, someone playing Pacino, right? At them, where they go back in time and they play. They should have had younger lads and then shown them when they were older. Like Scorsese at Pacino was saying, he said, I'm sitting on a chair, you know, in the living room and, you know, surrounded by family, and I'm supposed to get up dead quick because he played Jimmy Hoffa, didn't he?
He played Jimmy
And
Hoffa, yeah.
Supposed to get up dead quick. He said, I couldn't do it. He said, not as a 40-odd-year-old. I'm in the 70s, I couldn't get up. And they had to do it to lift him up.
Yeah. It was, I mean, that was very, I mean, they had done so much CGI on that. It was mental.
Well, Stephen Graham is, I know Stephen, by the way, Mark.
Do you know him?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's brilliant.
He wanted to know, a fellow named Dave Kirby, a friend of mine, playwright, and he said, Frank, he said, he phoned me up, I'm sitting in the house. He said, will you come down to the White Star? I said, no. I said, I'm sitting in. He said, oh, come on. He said, Stephen Graham wants to ask you a few questions. I said, no. He said, oh, come on. So anyway, I went down the White Star pub, and he was asking me about the Windrush, because he said, there's only one fella in Liverpool who knows about the Windrush. Who knows anything, you know, it would be Frank. And I went down. I didn't know. And he said, what do you know about the Windrush? I told him. And he said, that's amazing. He actually mentioned it on, I think it was Jimmy Kimmel's show, with James Buscemi, you know Buscemi?
Yeah.
James Buscemi. And he mentioned him, and he said, who is this guy? And he said, he's an historian. He says, and he's unbelievable, you know, back in Liverpool. Anyway, I get a phone call the other day, and this a friend of mine, he said, Frank, he said, you're not going to believe it. He said, it was my birthday, and Bev brought me to see John Bishop, and you know, this thing. And he said, and he comes on the stage and he's talking. He said, listen, there's a fella in Liverpool who we did something together. He said, John, he said, Bev went, that's Frank he's talking about, but yeah. And he came out and he went, it's Frank. And they all knew him. They all, you know, he said, everyone in the audience, we know him. We know Frank. Just shows you, doesn't it? But anyway, I've got to go. And I'll tell you for why. I've got 2 students, undergraduates, coming at 12:30. And they're doing a dissertation. This girl is doing a dissertation about Liverpool, not about the city, you know. Why is Liverpool looked at, you know, unfavourably with the rest of the country and all this? I don't know. I think so anyway. And she said, have you got any funny things to say as well, though?
No better man than Frank.
But anyway, Neil says, me and Ange watched a cracking movie last week, Speak No Evil, James McAvoy. Yes, seen it.
Fantastic.
And I'll be talking about that next week. James McAvoy. Dark thriller, funny, with a twist. 8 out of 10. Yeah, see? Neil's coming out with 8 out of 10s.
I must track that out, actually.
We'll talk about it next week, eh?
Yeah.
And a few others. But get onto YouTube, you know. There's Liam Neeson there. There's
great actor.
The franchise. There's one. I like Tom Cruise because he does his own stunts and everything, and it's called Jack Reacher. Watch it. It's on YouTube. Just get on YouTube. There's some brilliant films there. Aliens on it. Alien. Sigourney Weaver. She's on it. So there's loads to watch if you're just doing nothing and you don't want to watch all these woke films. I've been watching a loads of British, you know, from the war, you know, what you call it, propaganda films. You know, Above Us, The Sea, Only the Sea. All these great actors, John Mills, you know, people like that. absolutely brilliant. I love them. I really love them. But anyway, Sean, thank you so much. See you tonight.
Thank you, Frank. Yeah, you should do. You should do. Been an absolute pleasure.
Listen,
I promise not to mention Daniel Craig and James Bond.
I love Bond.
Yeah.
I love Bond. You won't let me go, will they? Neil, Envy is a great movie, Steve. If you need a Fire Stick, if you have Samsung Smart, if you don't need a Fire Stick. I've got a Fire Stick. I've got everything here. My little tellies are like for all these little things. Oh, I can't say that. Can we get nicked? Anyway, Mark Simons, what is the greatest horror film ever made? For me, it's The Exorcist. The Exorcist. It's a frightening thing, though. It's a horrible thing. I remember when it first came out. Never again will I watch it. I've only ever watched it once. Frightened me, though. Because I'm a Catholic like yourself.
I think the Exorcist or The Omen. The Omen.
The Omen's brilliant. And you get that on YouTube.
Yeah, The Omen.
The original. Yeah, the
original
Omen with Gregory the Peck.
Yeah. Scared the living bejesus out of me, that did.
Mickey, I need to leave as well. Been listening. Love these streams when I have possibility. Up the Reds. In slots we trust. You'll never walk alone. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So listen, chat, thank you so much for keeping Sean and myself company. See you all tonight. Max von Sydow, a legend here, him and Bergman. Yeah, Max von Sydow is a fantastic actor, a brilliant actor. Max von, yes, totally agree. And it was awful, pathetic. Hollywood tried to sell it as one of the greatest, horror films, and it was shocking. Anyway, I've got to go. This girl will be coming, and so thank you, chat. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Frank.
And up the Reds.
Up the Reds.